Hey everybody, Level 1 Goon here. Welcome back to the shed. Alright, so today on the shed we're going to be doing a quick overview and I would say a little bit of a review on the PWS Mk218 in 308.
Last round. Dead center.
Nikes, you just hit it.
Yep. Alright, so the PWS Mk218 Mod 1M. It's been Cerakoted into this bronze kind of coyote color, I guess you could call it. Now, I'll start out by saying normally me, as I've said numerous times, I'm a normal guy. I can't usually afford something like this, right? But I came across it used from a friend and a Marine who had purchased it new. I knew him when he purchased it. I was there when he purchased it, and I was there with him pretty much every time he's ever shot it. And so he decided to go with something a little bit smaller, and so he sold it to me for a pretty great price of $1,500 total, and that was for the firearm. Bipod was already on there, the Vortex Strike Eagle with a Burris mount, and then 5 mags plus a sixth, which is a Magpul D50 drum mag. So we're going to dive into some of the details about this guy, but I want to say $1,500 for this rifle is excellent, especially with all the extras that I got with it. This rifle retails at about $2,100, $2,200 just for the rifle with no additional stuff other than a mag. So it's a pretty solid rifle, and I will start by saying I haven't shot this one a ton only because ammunition is so expensive nowadays, especially in 308. Something like this I shoot sparingly only because, as I've said 1,000 times, I'm a normal guy. I try to purchase what I can afford, and I can't afford a ton of 308 ammo. Luckily, I have some family members and friends who are into reloading and fine-tuning ammunition, so they've actually made me ammunition that is perfect for this rifle. So let's go into some of the details. This one's chambered in 308 match. So I'll show you one of the mags. This is what I run through it primarily. That's a Hornady critical defense or something. It's the Hornady red tips for hunting, really. I'm not using this for self-defense in like a home scenario, like a robbery scenario. This thing is way too big. This is going to pass through just about everything it comes in contact with. So we're not going to use those for home defense, except in an SHTF style scenario. So this is more what I would classify as like a DMR. Now I have the D50, so I guess you could kind of run it as like a suppressive fire rifle, but I don't necessarily intend to run it that way. Now, like I said, it's chambered in 308 match. It has PWS's proprietary long stroke piston system. So what that means is, as opposed to being gas driven, it does not have a gas tube that runs all the way back to the bolt. What it actually has is a long piston that runs inside this rail here, up to the gas block up here at the front. When the round is fired, all the gas, instead of blowing back that bolt just via gas, what it does is it actually hits the piston up here, pushes the entire bolt back, and then comes back up. So the goal of a long stroke piston system is to keep the system cleaner and run more efficiently, supposedly. Now, I will say this guy is a little bit funny about ammunition, thus the reason that I went with my, we'll say, custom-made ammunition. It will run 308 match, right? No problem. If you start buying cheaper rounds, things like the cheapo Winchesters and stuff like that, the cheapest 308 you can buy, it will run it, but it's going to require you to adjust that gas block. Now, luckily, it is not hard to adjust that gas block. You can do that pretty easily with an Allen key, just about anything you can fit in the gas block hole, which I'll show you a video of here in just a moment. But essentially, it runs very cleanly. The only jam I've ever had was because user error. I had the gas block set on pretty much all the way closed, the lowest setting it would go on because I was running some high powered rounds. And then I switched over to some cheap rounds, didn't turn the gas block back down or back up, and it jammed on me, of course. So, like I said, PWS is proprietary gas system or piston system. This guy's going to be running a Radian Raptor truck charging handle. It has PWS's PRC30 muzzle device, and I have to say that makes a huge difference when it comes to recoil. Normally, long stroke piston systems are known for having pretty rough recoil. Well, this one, honestly, it is not too bad. It's definitely noticeable because it is a 308 and because I shoot those high-powered rounds through it. But you'd be surprised. It's really not as bad as you would think. If you get out on the range and you were to shoot it, you'd be like, oh, okay, I can shoot this. I can shoot this comfortably all day. Not an issue whatsoever. But between myself and the friend that I bought this from, we have probably put a total of about, I'd say 2,000 rounds total through it. Most of which he did. I probably only put about 500 rounds through it. He's definitely put the majority of the rounds through it. But from his experience and my experience, it's been a pretty solid weapon system. So moving on. So just a recommendation, if you're going to be buying a higher end weapon, just make sure you go ahead and get good ammunition that's going to feed that weapon properly. Okay. So the gas block, like I said, it is adjustable. It's up here at the front. You may or may not be able to see that right there. It's got a 1 to 10 barrel twist rate, muzzle velocity of 24.88, which is debatable. Chronographing it with these rounds, which are pretty juiced up when it comes to powder. I'm getting about 25, 26. So it's definitely a little bit higher than that with the proper round. But cheaper rounds, just MED ball, no fancy stuff, you're looking at about 23.50. So that changes per round, but with this rifle I've achieved 2,500, no problem. Like I said, Radian Raptor, mil-spec enhanced trigger. So this is going to be, when they say mil-spec enhanced, it's the same as a mil-spec trigger, essentially. Slightly lighter pull, I guess. The pull changes between 5.5 and 6.5. It's between 5.5 pound, 6.5 pound trigger, depending on the rifle that you get, because everyone's going to be slightly different. So just so you can hear it. Nice wall. Yep. Very, very clicky trigger. And we'll reset it. Very clean reset. So I will say this is definitely a cleaner trigger than a standard mil-spec, but it's just got a nice clicky wall. Click and done. Very, very clean. I love that trigger. I didn't think I was going to, but I really do like that trigger. This sucker comes with BCM furniture, so you got a BCM stock, BCM pistol grip, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's just nice that they threw that in there because I really do like BCM products from the ones that I've used so far, which is pretty much mostly just those two. Although I have some friends that will run BCM stocks and things like that, and after shooting their guns, I've been pretty impressed. So the Vortex Strike Eagle, that's a 2. Now, like I said, everybody knows, the Strike Eagle is definitely not at the top of the game when it comes to optics. Vortex is kind of known for being like the Chinese company. But as we've talked about, I'm a normal guy, right? This came with the gun for $1,500, and it is honestly a solid optic. I haven't had any issues with it. It's been very, very cooperative, and I haven't lost zero. I've shot this thing literally since we sighted it in because I helped him zero it. It has not been adjusted, and it has kept it 0. Now, have we used and abused this thing? No, it has not been abused. But after 2,000 rounds, I'm still hitting dead on every time, which I think is impressive. So that's a 1 to 8 by 30, by the way, in case you're wondering. It's got the Burris Reaper mount. the mount that we got is not necessarily because it was the nicest mount you could get or anything like that. It's just a solid mount, and decided to, because it was readily available, we went with that. And then the again, you know, I've got 5 mags. All of them are 20 round plus 1 25 round, and then the 6th mag is the D50, which is not useless, that's for sure. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, if you bring this thing out on the range, people are like, holy crap, what do you got there? But it's just a 50 round mag. It's not anything special. So I'll post some videos and stuff of me shooting it and things like that. But to me, this is a quality rifle with very few flaws that I've come across. Keep in mind, it is going to be very picky when it comes to ammunition, which is why all of my ammunition I have gotten is pretty much custom. Now I can get, I can go to the store and buy nicer ammunition, but it's cheaper for me to get my ammunition made for this weapon rather than for me to go to the store and buy 308. So is this recommended for everybody? If you can afford it, absolutely. If you can't, don't stress it. You can go get an M5, Aero M5, or that PSA 10, AR-10, or whatever it is, and be just fine. But this guy is a premium rifle, and it definitely performs that way. You may not get the same performance out of one of those rifles, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be pretty darn close. Is it worth $2,100? If I had to spend $2,100 today, I probably wouldn't have purchased this rifle. If I was gonna get something from PWS, it would have been one of their 5.56 rifles, but the deal was too good to pass up. So I decided to go ahead and spring for this one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.